Good afternoon. My name is Gloria Nelson and I'm with TUG, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's TUG Connects 365 webinar. As you settle in and get ready for the start of today's program, let me give a brief introduction for TUG, the usergroup.org, for both our current members and those of you who represent organizations that have not yet joined our online community of Infor distribution software users. We've all heard that phrase, knowledge is power, and I can say with confidence that after today's presentation, you'll be waking up tomorrow with a little more of both. TUG webinars, online forums, and member events facilitate the timely exchange of ideas and information to help you work smarter and with more confidence. That is a powerful combination. If you're currently a member, it pays to get even more involved, and if you're not, please visit our website to discover why 2,300 heads are better than one to help be the best at what you do. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce Meghan Foley, Fax Product Manager of Infor, and Brian Stacken, who is the Solutions Consultant for Infor in the CloudSuite Distribution sector. And Meghan, I'll let you know as soon as I have your slide in my sightline. And go ahead and take it away.
All right, thank you, Gloria. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Meghan Foley. As Gloria alluded to, I'm the Fax Product Manager with Infor. I've been with Infor about 7.5 years. So started off with the Business Development Group out of the St. Paul, Minnesota office for the first 1.5 years, and then spent 4 years as an account manager working with our current customer base all across the distribution platform, and then have been with product management now for 2 years. So I'm excited to be here with you today and go through the Infor distribution fax to CloudSuite distribution upgrade path. A quick run through of the agenda. I'll give a product management update to start, moving on to the fax to CSD data migration factory, and then I'll pass things over to Brandon to do a CloudSuite distribution overview demo, day in the life presentation. And then at the end, we'll have a conclusive Q&A. I did want to remind you, we'll have little breaks between each section to do Q&A. So please feel free to jot down notes and ask questions throughout today's presentation. So the first section of the product management update is the customer momentum. So as you can see, CloudSuite distribution has a long history, starting back in 1979 when GAP was first introduced, and the next trend was acquired by Infor in 2004. Our web user interface came out around 2013, and then the CloudSuite distribution multi-tenant SaaS offering was introduced this spring of 2015. And I put together this information as far as the fax to CSD gap analysis. So the part of the Infor distribution family that you're well aware of, we're making a way for fax customers that are interested in migrating to the cloud, helping make that transition as seamless as possible with filling in the functionality that you have currently today in fax and making that available within CSD. So the sales order fulfillment we released in April 2018. The CRM functionality within fax, we released the expand contact note functionality along with the enhanced workflow. So starting with that around the July 2018 timeframe and wrapping that up in March of 2019. Then the archive modules are covered by Burst Analytics, or Infor Analytics platform, and Infor Document Management. The sales analysis reporting system is also covered by Burst Enterprise. The fax replenishment math is currently on the roadmap for CSD. And then the last one there, the rental functionality that you have with fax is covered by the Infor Field Service and Rental application. We currently have 190 CSD multi-tenant customers. So 126 of those are currently in the process of implementing, and 62 customers are live in production utilizing CloudSuite distribution multi-tenant on a daily basis to run their operations. So some number breakdowns here, the total number of named users, we have over 20,000. So over 3,000 of those are live in production. And then wanted to point out the average size, 104 customers. So CSD is very scalable. We have many customers that scale all the way down to 10 named users, and then our largest customer is over 1,500. So no matter what size your business is, CloudSuite Distribution could be a great fit for you. And then within the last 2 years, we've released over 200 feature functionality enhancements. And now out of those 190 customers, here's a breakdown of where they've come from. So we have many customers that have been on different on-premise platforms that have made the move. I wanted to point out we have 14 fax customers that have chose to upgrade to CloudSuite Distribution. And then a breakdown of the micro vertical industries. So at Infor, we pride ourselves on meeting the needs of every single micro vertical within the wholesale distribution industry. And what's new? I'm not going to go too much into this. I know that Catherine Henn, the VP of Product Management, was with you on a TUG webinar last week, and she was able to cover the roadmap session. But did want to remind you that every single month we're coming out with additional feature functionality within the product. So the third Saturday of every month we push to customer production, and on average we have between 5 and 10 new enhancements each month, along with product improvements and bug fixes that come along with that. So last month we released 8 feature functionality, and on the bottom row there it shows a breakdown of where some of those fell into as far as credit card interface, Infor WMS, and Infor OS. And many of you may be using the enhancement request system, and thank you for that. That is your best centralized platform to be able to share what you are looking for within the product, and then product management to receive that and work with customers to help build out those business requirements and to put your requests into the product. So within 2020 so far, we've already released 37 enhancement requests from our customers, and then a total of 52 new feature functionality this year as well. And as far as the roadmap, so you can see August and September, we have about 8 to 9 enhancements per month. And then, looking at both what the industry is asking for, as well as our customers to build out the best fit solution for wholesale distribution. And looking ahead, so we work with our Infor industry strategists along with marketing, partnering with customers to really define out where the best use of our development efforts is and to enhance the product to meet the needs of you yourself as a customer, as well as the entirety of the wholesale distribution industry. So looking at things like usability, capability, and industry. We're in the midst of a improvement for quality of life enhancements, specifically around the accounts payable, accounts receivable modules within CloudSuite Distribution, as well as the inventory, which is one of the crux of the entire solution set to meet your business needs, looking at the total warehouse logistics module. And then integration. So Infor CloudSuite Distribution is exactly that, a suite of applications. So looking at other Infor solutions to seamlessly integrate with CSD to help meet your needs. So whether you're in the service or rental industry, looking at managing your customers' inventory with our storeroom application, or looking at things like e-commerce with Rhythm for Commerce. All right, and that concludes the product management update portion of today's webinar. I wanted to open it up for any questions. Gloria, do you see anything in the chat box?
I sure do. The first question that we have is, how many of the fax customers that have migrated to CSD are live currently?
Yes, we have, I think, 7 customers that are live within production. So out of the 14 that have made the move from fax to CSD, 7 of those are live.
Okay. And that's the only question that's populated so far. So I'd say go ahead and continue, and I'll be back on to join you in a bit.
Okay, thank you, Gloria. All right, and then our next section is the fax to CloudSuite Distribution Data Migration Factory. So we've built out a tool set and application to deliver repeatable, efficient data upgrades for our targeted applications in the cloud. So one of them being the fax to CSD DMF, as we like to call it, or Data Migration Factory. So really looking at their strategic approach, right? We wanted to make a repeatable process to be able to provide our customers with an upgrade path from legacy applications to multi-tenant solutions. So working with the centralized team with standard processes and methods for data migration to really help reduce the risk, because as you know, whether it's an upgrade or a full migration, sometimes those projects aren't the easiest to do, but we built a tool set to help make that as seamless as possible, so you're able to move into the cloud. And then really help to lower the total cost of ownership for our customers. One thing I did want to note, the fax to CSD DMF, you do have to be on fax version 7.8 or higher to be able to be eligible to take advantage of the tool set. So there were some things within the Providex fax database for versions prior to 7.8 that didn't quite come through as well. So we recommend customers that if you want to use the data migration factory to be on 7.8 or higher. So the way that it works is during your implementation process, so say you decide to make the decision to move to cloud, during that implementation we do 3 test runs and then 1 final prod run before you go live on the application. So this helps to clean up some of the data, make sure that you're getting everything over from your fax system into CSD the way that you need it in order to be able to run your business live in production. Here's a nice breakdown of kind of the framework of how it works. So looking at extracting the data from your fax database, screening the information, right, because garbage in is garbage out. So trying to clean up what you have existing in your database today before it gets loaded into CSD. And then we also run ETLs that are perform the extraction and transformation process to help filter out that data and generate the extract tables, and then using the standard import mechanisms to be able to import that into your new CSD database. So this shows we built out the map group for the gold standard, right? And so in a lot of cases, one size doesn't fit all, but we built out what we thought was the best tool. And then once we engage with the customer on a project, we kind of tweak it, right, to see what best fits your needs to make the data migration factory really work for you. And the common tooling and execution flow and responsibilities, really the heart behind this is to show the collaboration of the project, right? So you'll be involved as far as on the customer side. Infor will be involved, so whether you're using Infor Consulting Services, a channel partner to help assist with that implementation project, as well as the data migration factory team. So we have a whole team of people that help along with this process and this tool set that work with the consultants on the project, with your project managers, both in-house and with your implementation partner team, as well as Infor as a whole. All right, and any questions on the fax to CSD data migration factory? Oh, Gloria, I'm not getting your audio.
Pardon me, I apologize. Yes, we do have a couple questions. the first one is, when was the fax to CSD data migration factory developed?
Yeah, so we developed and released it the beginning of 2019. So it's been about a year and a half now that it's been working with customers on migrating them from fax to CSD.
Awesome. And also, how do you handle migration earlier than 7.8?
Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to utilize the data migration factory as it stands. So I definitely recommend that you reach out to either your account manager or your channel partner to help walk through that process. It may be that you upgrade to fax 7.8, or you utilize a different process outside of the DMF to help make that move from previous versions of fax to CSD. So there's a couple different options for you. So definitely recommend talking to your channel partner about what's best for you.
Okay. And that's all the questions that we have right now for this segment.
Okay. Thank you, Gloria. All right. Well, I will pass things over to Brandon Stacken, who's our solution consultant with Infor, to show an overview demo of CloudSuite Distribution. Brandon?
Perfect. Thank you so much, Megan. So let me just share my screen here with the audience. And I'm actually going to pull up one more thing here, which is my mobile device. So I do apologize, audience, if I get a message during the presentation, but this is my actual live device here. And Megan, can you see my screen okay? Okay, great. So what I want to do today is just kind of walk through just a simple day in the life scenario of what using CloudSuite Distribution could look like being we'll say an outside or inside sales rep. Because there's a lot of different components that make up the suite of CloudSuite Distribution. So I want to show you how those components fit together to add value to maybe processes that your users are going through on a daily basis today. So one thing that probably every single one of us has in common is that we all have a mobile device. And for some of us, including myself, this is how we start our day. For me, it's my alarm clock in the morning. So it's literally the first thing I interact with on a day-to-day basis. But I'm also looking at sports scores from the night before, I'm checking the weather for the week, I'm taking a look at my bank account. But one of the things that we can do with CloudSuite Distribution is we can also take a look at what's taking place within our organization and what might need our immediate attention before we even get into the office today. So out here we have a bunch of Infor applications that you can download from the App Store, either on your mobile device or on your tablet. So in the upper left-hand corner there, I have what we refer to as Infor Mingle, which is really the social collaboration piece of CloudSuite Distribution. So as I get in here, I can start to see different posts or conversations that I'm a part of as an end user, whether it's a one-to-one conversation with me and another user, or if it's a one-to-many conversation with a group of users throughout the organization, such as the purchasing department or the accounting department. Notice down below here, Mike reached out to me and asked me to follow up on this quote for my customer. So notice down below, I can actually go out here, I can type back to Mike, I can say, yes, I'll follow up on this as soon as possible today. Also notice in the upper right-hand corner, Mike's left me an attachment. So if I drill into that, I can see he attached the quote to this conversation. And within drilling into that attachment, I can now actually view the quote for that customer. So if I wanted to, right here from my mobile device, I can actually go out and give that customer a call. I can also from my mobile device see things like system generated notifications. So things that I've asked CloudSuite Distribution to monitor for me. And when those events take place within my core ERP, it automatically pushes notifications right here to the end user's mobile device. So maybe I want to take a look at some of the tasks that have been laid out for me that I'm going to have to follow up on today when I get into the office. So the first one there, I have a quote that the system is proactively alerting me on that's about to expire. So it's saying, instead of potentially losing this business, how about you give this customer a call and see if they want to convert that quote into an actual stock order. And notice it gives me some high-level parameters about that transaction. Or maybe notice the system's also proactively alerting me that I have a customer here that hasn't placed an order within the last 30 days. So again, it's proactively sending me these messages so that I'm aware of what's going on within the ERP. And if I needed to, I have all the information there to go ahead and give my primary contact at that account a call and do a simple check-in. So right from the mobile device, I get a sense of what I need to work on before I even get into the office today. Now we're gonna fast forward and I'm gonna jump in my car and I'm gonna say, I'm heading on my way to work, but before we get to the office, I'm gonna stop at a customer site and just do a simple visit and check in. But before I talk to that customer face-to-face, I probably wanna pull up some information around their account. So what's their AR aging look like? What does their sales for the year look like? So in the upper right-hand corner, notice we have Infor Burst, which is our best in breed business intelligence and analytics tool set. So as the sales rep, right on my mobile device, I have quick and easy access to any of the reports or key performance indicators that I leverage as an end user to do my job successfully. So here as the sales rep on my mobile dashboard, I can see my year-to-date sales when working with my customer accounts. I can see my year-over-year growth. I can see down below different reports that I like to consume on a daily basis. Now I'm going to visit a specific customer, so I might want to just see this information as it pertains to them. So in the bottom right-hand corner here, I have a filter option, and I can have as many filters here as I want, but I can quickly get at a list of my customer accounts that are assigned to me, maybe filter on Metro Sales Supply and hit apply. And within a few short seconds, now I can see all these metrics and reports for that customer. So here I can see Metro sales is year-to-date versus last year-to-date sales. I can see year-to-date product category sales for that customer. So they buy a lot of electrical and building material equipment from us. Down below, I can see their AR aging detail. So they have an open balance in period 4 and period 5 that I might want to be aware of. And then also I can see things like customer activity. So any of the conversations that are taking place with this customer account that I might need to be aware of before going to speak to them. So it looks like I had an inbound call where the customer was inquiring on pricing, and there was also supposed to be a collection call that took place about that customer's open balance. So before I even talk to that customer, all these reports, all these analytics, I can take a look at this detail to gather some information on that account. Now we'll say we're going to go ahead and talk to that customer. And as we're speaking to the customer, one of the things they mentioned to me is, well, we misplaced an invoice. So when you get back into the office, can you do us a favor and resend us that invoice? Well, I can actually do them one better right here from my mobile device as we're face-to-face. So here on the mobile, I have access to our document management tool set, which houses any of the documents that I or us as a business use as an organization. So here I can go out and upload documents that I might want to take pictures on my phone with or attach with my phone. I can also go out here and search for any documents that I have access to within the document repository. So for example, this customer, based on what they're looking for, they told me the quote was associated with order number 1019, oops, let's type the right numbers in there, and 122. I'll go out and do a search, and let me just get that little message off the screen there. And now I can find the documentation that that customer was looking for. If I go ahead and click into it, I can preview that invoice. I can even click into it one more time to download it onto my phone. And if I need to get that documentation to my customer, right here from my mobile device, I can send it via text message, Outlook, Gmail, or even by using the social collaboration tools of CloudSuite Distribution. So no matter where I am, if I'm in the comfort of my own home, if I'm on site visiting customers face-to-face, I have access to documentation wherever I might need it. Now again, let's fast forward. Let's say I'm done with meeting with that customer, I get into the office and I log into CloudSuite Distribution. So when I log into CloudSuite Distribution, as you can see here, I'll be presented with what we call a role-based homepage. And the first thing I like to do as a sales rep when I log into the system is first look at the different metrics and different reports that are specific to me as the user. So here I can see how many open quotes I have in the database, what my average order size is, the commission that I've earned this year, the commission that's still due to me, or maybe it's my sales and margin percentage when working with my customers year to date. Down below, you can see the same types of information that we saw on the mobile device. So whether it's those system generated notifications or those conversations that I was a part of, or maybe it's just quick and easy access to certain documents that I utilize on a day-to-day basis. So it's really a centralized landing point for me as the user. When I get into the system, it gives me a sense of what I need to focus on for the day and what's most important to me. Now, once I'm done taking a look at my homepage, I might want to focus on some of the tasks that the system's proactively laid out for me that I'm going to have to go out and take action on, and I'm going to be held accountable for. So if you remember, we had that quote that was about to expire in the system. And what the system did is it noticed that expiration date and automatically sent a notification to the sales rep that was responsible for that quote. So here, notice it's more than just a pretty little message. I can actually drill in. It gives me some high-level parameters about that transaction, such as who's the customer, what's the order total of that quote, who is the original salesperson that entered that quote within the system. Down below, I can see things like attachments that might be associated with this transaction or notes. Or across the top, notice I can also do things like assign this to someone else. So maybe I'm really busy today or I'm on vacation, I don't have time to take care of this. I could go out here and assign it to Jeff or to Mike to follow up on this transaction on my behalf. But in my case, I've already assigned it to myself. So that way my management team, they have visibility into who's doing what, where, and when, and they can track the resolution or the outcome of me following up on this transaction. Now, if I want to follow up on this quote with this customer, I probably want to know, well, what was the customer even interested in buying in the first place? I don't want to just call them blindly and ask them if they want to convert this to an actual stock order. So the other thing the system has done for me is it's automatically created a drill back right here from the home page into the core ERP system itself. And it takes me into an area in which we call order inquiry, where we can review some of the information about that order. So right now we're on the header tab. We're looking at general information about that quote. If I want to take a look at the line detail, I can click on the line detail tab to see what products the customer was interested in, the quantities they were interested in. So in this case, it looks like they were interested in buying some sealant and a router. And once I'm more familiar with this quote, maybe I want to see what else is going on with that account. So I can open up my contextual apps here on the right, maybe pull up notes that we have surrounding that customer, so I can access any of that note detail. I can also go out here and see what activities are going on with that account. So there's a quote follow-up that was supposed to happen with this account or with this particular order. And then also, if I'm ready to give that customer a call, I just pull up my contacts that we have on file for that customer account. So I can see a couple of different contacts there, but Mike Young, he's the purchasing agent. He's typically who I deal with when it comes to customer orders. So there's his phone number. I'll give him a call. Again, we'll fast forward a little bit here and we'll say we get Mike on the phone. And it's just been a very busy time of the year for their business, so they forgot about the quote, but he does want to convert it into an actual stock order, and he wants to add some additional line items to that order as well. So right here from order inquiry, I can hit with one click my maintain order button, which takes me into the order entry area of the application. Maybe I want to enter a PO number here that Mike might give me, or I can go to the next step of the process, which is selecting the products. So over here on the right, I can see the line items that are already on the quote. So we got that sealant and that router. On the left, I can see my header detail about that order. And as I talk to my customer about what else he's interested in, he mentioned that he's interested in a couple different types of plywood. So I'm just going to quickly type in those different types of plywoods that he's interested in, and within a quick and timely manner, add both of those line items to the order in a single instance. My customer also mentions that he's interested in gloves, but he's kind of challenging me now. And he says, well, I want to know what types of gloves you have available to sell. And I want to know the brands, and I want to know prices and availability of those products. So in order to help me in this situation, I'm actually going to switch my line entry mode here to what we call easy line entry, which is a multi-line search and select type capability, very much like an e-commerce platform, where I can go out here and type in a keyword like gloves, and based on that criteria I feed it, it brings back hits that are most relevant. So now, as I have my customer on the phone, I can tell them, well, we have different types of gloves. We have disposable gloves that we sell by the box. We got more heavy duty gloves that we sell by the pair. And after going through this list and telling him what we have in stock and what the unit prices are, he decides he wants a quantity of 4 boxes of the disposable gloves and he wants a quantity of 2 pairs of the heavy duty gloves. And with one click of the button, I can add both of those line items to the order in a single instance, and they'll show up over here on the right-hand side in my product list. One other product that he's interested in, he actually gives me his customer part number for it. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in here, and the system will come back not only with that product, which was a circular saw that he was interested in, but it can also bring things like optional products that go along with that circular saw. So as a sales rep, this gives me the opportunity to tell my customer that we also sell the saw cases and saw blades that go with that circular saw that he's requiring. So for example, after telling my customer that, he decides, you know what, I'll take 2 of the circular saws, 2 of the saw cases, and give me 4 of those saw blades that go with it. And again, with one click of a button, I can add all 3 of those line items to the order, and they'll show up over here in my product list on the right-hand side. The last thing my customer has for me is he's asking if we have any documentation around the sealant. He wants to know if we have an SDS sheet or a product brochure that we can share with him before we send him on his way. So I'm just going to go ahead and select that line item here. And again, just pull up my context apps, and this time access our document management tool set and tell it to show me any documents that are associated with the product. And within a few short seconds there, now I can see we got a product brochure. I can see we have an SDS or spec sheet here, and then we also have a product image. And if he wants this information right here while I'm working on the order with him over the phone, I can send that to him via email and get him that information based on this detail that he wants surrounding that product. And if that's all he's looking to buy today, there's a couple different things we could do. I could either collect his payment over the phone if he wanted to pay by credit card, or we could just go up here and hit the finish button to charge the customer's account, and then we would go ahead and invoice them once that inventory has been shipped. I can then close out of my tabs here across the top if I want to keep my environment clean, come back to my home page where that task still resides. Maybe there's a resolution code that I need to type in here, which in my case could be converted quote to a stock order. So that way management knows, okay, Brandon completed this today, and here was the outcome or the results of him following up on that quote. But once I hit my done option, it removes that task and it sends me on to the next one that I have out here to take action on. So that's just kind of the simple day in the life scenario that I kind of like to share. And again, I'm not saying this is exactly how your users or your business would use all these different technology components that come included with CloudSuite Distribution, but it kind of shows you how we touch several different applications here, and from an end user aspect, fairly seamless. So it all started on a mobile device where we are able to access things like system generated notifications, access reports and analytics, or even access documentation while we're in the comfort of our own home or we're face-to-face with our customers. From there, when we got into the office, we logged into CloudSuite Distribution and we're presented with our role-based homepage, which really gave me a sense of, all right, here's where I'm at, here's how I'm performing, and here's what I need to be focused on for today. And then from there, we actually followed up on one of the tasks that the system had proactively laid out for us, and we were able to add a few additional line items to a quote, and then we could have converted that quote into a stock order as the last result as well. So let me stop here, and Gloria, let's see, are there any questions from the audience in the question bank so far?
We don't have any that have populated yet because you've gone through things on such a robust, wonderful level. So what I might ask you while we're waiting to see if anything does populate here is, what are some of the most frequently asked questions that you get with regard to the migration process? And Brandon, if you want to hop on with your camera, that way people can see you as well as myself.
Absolutely.
And I'll invite Meghan also, because Meghan might be able to speak into this as well. So what are some of the most frequently asked questions that you get during this process?
Yeah, I'd probably say the number one question I get after people see this presentation or just that short 15-minute introduction is that all included? Because we saw so many things. We saw mobile capabilities. We saw analytics and reporting. We saw document management. I mean, there's so many different components that make up CloudSuite Distribution, but everything you just saw in that presentation there is standard functionality for a customer using CloudSuite Distribution? And that's probably the #1 question I get when people see that presentation there.
Awesome. Another question that came to mind for me is, Meghan, you had included part of the roadmap in your slide presentation, and I know that that's proprietary and probably will not be included in the deck that you're going to share with us in PDF format. I believe, isn't this available for viewing online? Is it in Concierge, that if people want to keep abreast of what's coming down the pipeline, where can they access that information?
Yes, yeah, it is posted to Infor Concierge, so it'll be on that platform and be able to be searchable and viewable.
Wonderful. Well, we don't have any questions that have populated thus far. I want to just commend both of you and say what a wonderful job that you have done. And I'm going to flip things over here for a moment. So please note that we will have PDF files that we will be uploading no later than, I believe, Monday. Meghan, is that a good time for you with regard to pulling that deck together for us to share with our fax users?
Yes, that's perfect. I'll send it to you directly after today's webinar.
Wonderful. Well, in closing, first of all, I want to thank all of our fax users that are here today. We had 19 people logged on from this special interest group of the ERP. And also a special thanks to Meghan and Brandon for sharing their wealth of knowledge with all of us. TUG members, just a quick reminder, if you still have questions, you can post them to the TUG forum for a quick response. And if you're thinking about making the migration off of fax into CSD, please make sure that you follow the instructions and contact either your channel partner or your sales rep directly from Infor. And for those of you who are not yet members, please visit www.theusergroup.org and join us. You won't regret it. Thanks so much for attending today. Thank you again, Meghan and Brandon. And as they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.